All right, we might have done it. We might have did it. The motor is in. I got the firewall all seam sealed, so I'm gonna have to clean up the firewall a bit in here. I already painted all down here to clean it up, and I just gotta pull the subframe out of the car and grind it, paint the firewall and all the subframe mounts, and we'll be able to start putting this thing together. She do be looking pretty good. So I didn't have time to pressure wash it and stuff, so I just did the bare metal, but it looks pretty dang good. Gonna try to figure out where to get this harness in and make some holes in the firewall for that. Man, this thing's coming out awesome. I got the clutch cable ran, the master's in, the harness is ran, kind of, it's not fully tucked up. I started doing brake line stuff. The engine bay is pretty good. I got the hood cable routed. So everything is fitting right now, which is crazy. The next big thing I need to do is I need to change the wiring harness from this airbox to the Fusion. So I can't find anything online telling me any information. So I'm gonna basically have to retrace the harness, follow it back. Hopefully the colors are right and I can just match colors. But I'm gonna have to follow that and transfer these connectors over for that. And the only other electrical thing that I need to do, hopefully, is this is an automatic motor. So I need to take the automatic plug, take a couple wires out of this, and set it up for the manual. So that's what I'm gonna be doing tonight. Hopefully it all works. Okay, so we started doing the clutch on the motor, and I realized I didn't have a clutch alignment tool to fit. So I used the lathe to make my own out of a old V8 one, and we got the X clutch mounted to the engine. Then we took the transmission, put our new slave cylinder on it, got that ready to go, and this is actually the easiest transmission I've ever slid on. It popped right on, no hassle, no fight, and I was pretty happy since I made that clutch alignment tool. Then I got my MGW shifter mounted on the back. We got the engine ready to go in. We installed the engine from the bottom, lined the cradle up, then we ended up moving the cradle all over the place by accident. Set it down, got the engine in place, and bolted it in. Here we got the front suspension bolted back together, and we got the transmission lined up so we could get the back cradle bolts in. All right, we might have done it. We might have did it. The motor is in, subframe is in, transmission's in. It lines up absolutely perfect with the trans tunnel. I still got to put the trans mount on, but I don't know if that's gonna line up because I have a GT cross member and stuff. But let's let it down and see how we're looking on top, because that's real tight. Give her the beans. Full sender. That motor's so low in there. It looks so tiny. There's so much room.
All the way down?
Yep, that's good. So, there's definitely room for maybe a 6-cylinder in here at some point if this doesn't work out. But she's in. The sway bar is not hooked up, but the motor is in. It's very, very tight to the back, which is perfect. That's how I wanted it. And it looks great. So it's low enough that it looks like the hood's gonna clear. It like just barely looks like the hood's gonna clear. And I'm stoked because it's been a long time working on this, a lot of hours, and it's looking good. And Mike's real happy about it because he gets to hear me every day about how I'm building a stupid Fusion. So it's coming along and I'm stoked, and we're gonna measure for a drive shaft and get the rest of the stuff like tidied up a little bit while we can. I'll try to put the radiator in and stuff, get everything underneath done because I gotta move this off the lift because the race car needs some serious work for next year. But we're gonna try to get the whole bottom of this done before I put it off the lift. Make it our custom steering shaft. Damn, dog. Where'd you learn how to weld like that? That looks pretty good.
Filling gaps. I learned how to weld like that because I'm a shitty cutter.
I learned how to weld like that by filling gaps. Take it as you will. Hot pit, baby. So I don't know how I got so lucky, but the transmission mount lines up perfect, which it's a GT mount, so I don't know if that's supposed to be different or not, but the GT transmission mount bolted in perfect. We should be able to measure for a drive shaft now. The steering shaft is right where it should be. It seems like it's a little bit bound up. You can kind of see it. There's a lot of shadows. It's a little bit bound up, so it's not sliding like it's supposed to. But I'm gonna measure for the steering shaft and we'll have steering on the car. All right, under the car is mostly wrapped up. We did put this on just to see, and that's how it bolts in. Maybe we'll use the Fox or the Mustang stuff. I don't know. We're gonna look into that a little bit further here, but the steering is all in. The steering shaft, I had to modify the bushing up here to lift it up a little bit. It was hitting. But now it just barely clears. Our brake lines are kind of ran. I'll tighten those up after, but they are ran into the car for the handbrake. Got a single all the way back. And we got our T to the rear brakes. So then we're gonna just have to mount those to the calipers. Rear end is in, transmission is in, shifter is in. We just have to put this gas tank in, and she's pretty much set underneath, especially because we're not doing an exhaust, so pretty stoked. Okay, so I tried the radiator with the intercooler for the car, and I basically have two options. I either get a custom intercooler or I use a Mustang radiator and condenser. And the lines don't look like they're gonna really fit good with the Mustang motor and Firewall for the AC. And also the inlet and outlet port on the radiator are backwards. So even though it's bigger and I'd like to use it, we're gonna probably end up getting a nice radiator for it, which sucks because they're pretty pricey. And then we're also gonna have to get a lot of AC stuff, which also sucks because it's pricey. But just wrapping up, I need to put the seat mounts in because I'd like to get that done before I take it off the lift, and I can put the seats in and wheels on it and move it out. So basically get all the big shit out of my way. All right, I'm letting her down. This might be the last time before we get a burnout. Hopefully. We'll see. Still needs a lot of work on the jack stands, but she'll roll. I did measure this out, so hopefully the seats will fit. Welded all the seat brackets back in so they look good, and the seats are all the way forward from removing them, so can't really test the seat position, which sucks, but hopefully it will be good because this is with the steering wheel all the way in, and it looks pretty decent. You can't see the shifter because I got a mess going on, but yeah, buddy. And this thing looks freaking sick. Almost all put together. It's so low. The fender is sitting on the tire for some reason. It just keeps settling and getting lower. But it should be lower than that when we're done. The hood shuts. Everything's gravy. We're gonna hop back on this as soon as possible. I just have a buddy that's a fabricator coming down to work on this so we can get a lot of work done. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell thing so you know when I make new videos, and hopefully we'll be fast enough to get videos out every 2 weeks and still keep making content with this, but I also don't mind making content with that either. So we'll keep you in the loop, and we'll see you later.